Welcome to the Tax Sale Podcast, where tax sale investing is made easy. My name is Casey Denman. I'm a tax sale veteran and expert. I'm the author of the Tax Sale Playbook, founder of the Tax Sale Academy, and I am your host right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast episode. As a reminder, these episodes are completely free. They're brought to you through and because of the Tax Sale Academy. So make sure you check out taxsaleacademy.com if you are looking to learn more about investing in tax defaulted real estate. Today we'll be talking about what you should not do when it comes to taking shortcuts to the tax sale success that you desire. So I love the analogy that most people will earn $1 million over the course of their life, but most people will not become millionaires. Now, obviously that $1 million figure does not mean what it once did. It's more attainable than it ever has been, but the statement holds true for our analogy. The overwhelming majority of people inside the United States are going to earn $1 million throughout their working career, but they're not going to become millionaires. The reason is that the timeline that it takes to earn this money is going to be 20, 30, 50 years for many people. So the key is to shorten that timeline so you're earning the money faster. So of course your net worth goes up. Same money, just a shorter timeline. The way to do that, of course, is to speed up your path to success. Shortcut the time it takes to make that money. Very simple stuff. But there is a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. Some ways will get you there faster. Other ways will never get you there. Let's discuss 5 ways that people try to use to shortcut the path to tax sale success that simply do not work. You're going to want to avoid every single one of these. The first one, and the most obvious, is also the most detrimental. They skip the learning process. And I've seen this over and over and over again. I've been training others in this business for 12, 13 years now. And the single biggest issue that I see with new investors is that they do not take the time to learn what they're doing. When you watch 1 or 2 videos or you see a so-called TikTok expert out there, it's easy to think you know everything possible about this business in 10 minutes. But there's a reason that I have nearly 1,000 training videos for you. There's a reason I wrote that book. There's a reason that I created the Tax Sale Academy. The reason is there's much, much more to this business than you see at first glance. Buying low and selling high, yeah, sounds great. Yes, the objective is to make money, but that's the equivalent of a kindergartner being able to add 1 + 1 and think they know how to do algebra. Unfortunately, learning something does take time. Most new investors don't want to invest that time. So they learn 1 or 2 things about the business and they take off. Maybe it's the basics. Maybe they just go a little bit beyond the basic where they're barely scratching the surface when it comes to learning. It's easy to think, well, if I'm not out there buying properties, then I'm not making any money. So that's what I should be doing. That's my shortcut. Go out there and get started right away. The problem is you have no idea when you're first starting out what you should be doing. I always tell everybody, prior to buying your first property, you must set aside sufficient time to learn. For some, that might be a week or 2. For others, a month or 2. I've had an Academy member before that took an entire year to learn. They were a slow learner, no problem with that, but they did it the correct way. They took as much time as they needed. They went out and practiced, came back, refined their skills, then they went out there and they crushed it. It takes time to learn. Commit to learn. This is not something you should shortcut. Number 2, the next wrong shortcut is to have the wrong focus. Many people think that the shortcut to success is to take what their specific investment objective is and go out there and to put it in action as soon as possible and to focus on that alone. But hear me out. Unfortunately, their specific investment objective, what they think will work, is not proven. They've never proven that it will work. Be focused is great, right? We need our focus. I encourage you to be focused. Focusing in general is in fact a shortcut, but focusing on the wrong strategy, on a strategy that you think will work, but nobody's ever proving it, will not only delay your progress, it might kill your business entirely. Here's what I mean by that. Turning off all distractions, getting into a room where you're learning, where you're researching, where you're whatever, that's focus. That's fantastic. But having such tunnel vision that you think the only path to success in this business is to go to the auction in your hometown to buy that 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in the good section of town, and then to spend 30 days remodeling that house before launching an open house and selling it for 300% of your investment. Well, that's an example of being so narrowly minded that your shortcut to that investment is going to prove fruitless. I actually had a comment today from a person that literally told me what his opinion was of the tax sale business and then went on to describe very specifically what he was looking for. Something that just doesn't exist in this business. In short, yes, have goals, have objectives, have a strategy, but don't get so close-minded that your objective, the same one you've never proven, becomes your sole focus. The next one is people rush their research. It's fun to look at numbers, to see our name pop up on the bid screen, to hold our bidder card up, shout out the next bid amount, drive by newly acquired properties. All that stuff is fun, but that is less than 5% of what this business is all about. The majority of what we do as tax sale investors should be research, whether you like it or not. As a new investor, it is very easy to approach research as something that you can rush through. Okay, check this, and this, and boom, I'm done. Now, there are certain checklists that you can use, but research is more of an art that requires a significant understanding of what you are doing. The more understanding you have, the faster, more efficient, and more accurate your research will become, which in and of itself is a shortcut. For example, the investor who looks just at the tax assessed value and uses that to value the property is going to have some real struggles in their business. If we take that a step deeper, the investor who looks at just the tax assessor's report, while it is better than just the tax assessed value, they're still going to run into a lot of issues. And even if you review all of the online documents, there will still be time where you need to make a phone call, where you need to have some additional clarification from the county or the city. You'll need to do a drive-by perhaps. Whatever the case, you're going to need to perform some additional research in many situations. I've heard dozens of sad stories about this issue or that issue from new tax sale investors. So what usually happens is I point out that I found the issue in a matter of seconds. Then they'll usually explain, well, I knew something was off, or I didn't think to check there, or I thought it would be okay, or whatever the situation, the excuse is. These are the things that are a result of shortcutting the research process. That's not a place you want to shortcut. Number 4, the next shortcut that I do not like, and that is wrong, is when people focus on convenience alone. People love to tell me that they saw an online auction in one of the largest markets in the country, and a property sold for more than they thought it would. They chose that market because it was easy to research. All their information is right online, right in front of them. They logged on, clicked the button, and placed their bid, as did 37 other people. I've got so many videos about this now that it's frustrating to me when people ask me what they should do next, since, in quote, it didn't work. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. The more convenient something is, the higher the competition is and the lower the margins will be. And yes, there is even the potential that you're going to buy a losing investment if you focus solely on convenience. You should not attempt to shortcut the process by focusing on the easiest, most convenient markets to invest in. It's actually quite the opposite. Maybe you should focus on the most difficult, most inconvenient markets. Those are the ones that will often provide the most profitable deals. Yes, I know, they're not convenient to you. That's the entire point. Everybody has their life going on, but if they're not convenient to you, then they're not convenient to everybody else in the world. Sure, you have to rely on those conveniences in some situations. Maybe you're out of the country, maybe you work 70 hours a week and you're doing this part-time, whatever it is, I get it. But understand what you're getting yourself into, because convenience, ultimate convenience in everything you do as a tax sale investor is not going to be the shortcut you want to take. And number 5, the last wrong shortcut that I'm discussing today is many people think they should hold back on their effort levels. They think that this should be an easy business. A lot of people are shocked to find out this business requires effort. Imagine that. A business that has the potential to make you more than a surgeon who spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and a dozen years in school actually requires effort. The problem with social media today and other places online is that you see everybody wanting to flex their cars and how rich they are. Of course, in the reality, most of those folks are not rich. And number two, the ones who are do not show you the actual efforts that they made to get there. Nobody sees the long days researching properties, the auctions attended, the markets analyzed, the marketing methods utilized. All of these behind the scenes type stuff gets overlooked because it's not all that exciting. So what happens is people make the assumption that this is an easy business. We see the start, we see the end, we don't see everything in between, and we try to skip all that stuff by holding back on the effort levels. Or maybe we don't even consciously hold back, but we think it's easier than it's supposed to be. Understand, this is a business that requires effort. It is as simple as that. In closing, you can do things to shortcut your path to success as a tax sale investor. I document many of these here in this podcast and obviously lots of others throughout my trainings in the Tax Sale Academy. And much of these shortcuts come through front loading your business, learning what you're doing, learning the correct path ahead of time instead of simply trying to wing it as you progress. Tax sale investing is an absolutely incredible business if you approach it correctly and if you utilize the correct shortcuts that I teach about. Listen, I truly hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you enjoyed this episode or any of the episodes here on the Tax Sale Podcast, please do me a huge favor and leave a positive review or comment on whatever podcasting or video platform you're listening to us on right now. We don't charge for this. There's no membership or listing fee or anything like that for these episodes, but you simply taking a few seconds out of your day to tap that 5-star review or leave that positive comment might serve to help a brand new tax sale investor discover this incredible business simply because you took the time to do so. And as always, if we can be of any additional help, be sure to check out our website at taxsaleacademy.com. Hey, take care and make it a successful day. We'll see you next time right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Bye-bye.